Pilates. My name is Michael Miller. This is a Michael Miller trademark training video out to you because you're watching. Thank you and welcome. It's meant for Michael Miller Pilates licensed affiliates, the Core New Core, my patrons, and anyone interested in surviving and thriving as a Pilates instructor or student. I got through all that and I put my notes down. Oh, because they're rather chaotic, and I hope that something makes sense. No, three things. Recognize opportunity, knowledge and information, and real bodies, real cues. So that's a good example of the merry-go-round theory of learning, or running by something by somebody once that you then intend to do again, and through the familiarity of repeated exposures, develop in a person not only a sense of familiarity, but more control with the effort they're making. Number one, recognize opportunities. So I have a viewer / student of the last few weeks, maybe a couple months, I don't know, who has revealed that someone they know worked with me once upon a time, took a workshop. And so my number one, when it comes to recognize opportunity, it would be, I responded in this letter, but then I forgot to say that, recognize someone saying, yes, Michael Miller this, or yes, Michael Miller that any familiarity or approval or disapproval, any of that at least ties to me, is an opportunity for you to just reveal the information that you offer prepaid presentations that explains MMP and CT. And so immediately somebody says, well, what is that? And then I would go answer generally and just say, one is about biomechanics and the other is about a point of view of Pilates. And see, maybe somebody that knows something about biomechanics would say, well, it's got nothing to do with biomechanics. And it's like, well, then what does it have to do with? Because in core new tension, in oppositional rotation between axes in the body, MMP says that's the way the body most efficiently distributes load to move through space. It makes the most of the muscular engagement in its capabilities, and it's because of that capability of creating oppositional rotation between axes. That's purely that's my point of view, and I'm pointing to an identification of what I think is the way the body engages itself to move through space. And to me it's rather eloquent that so much eloquence of the physics of the Euler curve, also known as the core new spiral, it makes sense, and the capacity of the human being in its ability to do this. You get two things from core new tension. Two things from core new tension that matter a lot to me that I want you to remember. One is you get uniform usage. By engaging oppositional rotation between axes, it's the way the musculature most uniformly engages itself to distribute the load that it's under. And I would say maybe that's because in doing so, it also provides for or results in eccentricity, because core new tension in and of itself is eccentric in its expression. So that's way past recognizing the opportunity and being way up on the, here's where someone says, yeah, they know me, or they've been run across Michael Miller-Pilates, right? And all that's good because that's brand recognition. But where you want to add two and two, offer value for value, is to say, I now make a presentation that explains CT and MMP, prepaid. It's like a gondola tour. And if that's not enough, then the next level could easily be, well, CT stands for core new tension, and MMP stands for Michael Miller-Pilates. But really a more general understanding would be that one points to what its identifier thinks of as biomechanics, and the other points to an ideal point of view of Pilates that in its pursuit comes with an experience. Too many words. See, I encourage you to just make it a fun thing. It doesn't have to be about a lot of money. It just has to be that you get paid in advance for a presentation that only is expected to last so long. Right? As if you were singing. All you're doing though is talking. You're explaining two things. And that's what it's about. Now, if someone's not interested in paying at all for any of that, then I would say don't offer any more and learn more about whatever you have in common with that person from their memories. Because they're more interested in that than having an update to what I would think is more what I'm currently teaching. So we're talking 2019, and I'm talking to an audience of the last couple months and asking them to put in perspective what they know about CT and MMP and have that weigh against whatever someone else's memory of me and whatever it is or was that I taught, if that made any impression at all. But know what you know. And so my number one, recognize opportunity. If somebody says, yeah, I already met him and he's a jerk, or yeah, I went through that and it was really cool. Well, any recognition at all, good or bad, is an opportunity to merely say, you can offer a person an explanation of what Michael Miller teaches these days. It comes with an explanation of what he calls core new tension. And then if nobody's interested, and a lot of times people aren't, because they're more fond of talking about their memories and their experiences and their point of view. That's part of walking among human beings. So, number two is knowledge and imagination. It seems that more and more of my discussion comes to some knowing knowing something. And I'm most specifically talking about knowing what? Knowing that there's a way to engage your body that helps distribute the load of your body, and and also makes alignment sensational. You know, how do you do that? How do you engage your body to evenly distribute the load? How do you be whole body? And in being whole body, can you get a sensation, not an intellectualization, but a sensation of alignment out of it? So hopefully in this broadcast you're gaining knowledge of a point of view that will allow you to exercise your imagination in the way you pursue your movement. Okay. Both in terms of core and tension, and also in terms of the pursuit of ideal expression, in terms of alignment and well, alignment could be a big word that includes lines and circles and parallels, right? Smooth curves. I think imagination goes beyond what you know, but then in trying to make use of what you know, you utilize your imagination to do that. Maybe it's just semantics. So my closing on this is that MMP is sensational. Right? And most of that boils down to, because of rotations of axis in the body that create tension, it's from core new tension that alignment is sensational. It's from making the tension. And that's making oppositional rotation between axes. Life can live forever. Read between the lines and see behind the curtain. Evaluate points of view, because the broader the spectrum of points of view that you have as your experience and your knowledge base, right? The stronger you'll be as an instructor, because all of that ends up filtering through you, right? For good or for bad. And so number 3, real bodies, real cues. Here, look at this is black onyx, which years and years and years, maybe a decade later, after I've been using this as a teaching aid, as a tactile cue, someone told me, well, you know, Michael, that's associated with a chakra of the body that's located like right here. So it was nice to know that the nature of the rock was associated to, in terms of chakras, a location in the body where I used it often, just setting it there, well, holding it up, letting them see it, my student, right? Asking them if it's okay if I set this on their stomach, right? Yes. So there's no presumption involved, and someone's ready for it, and in being ready for it, are more inclined to be open to it, right? And so in the setting, then, having all you need is a finger on the marble to help stabilize it, and more importantly, as the instructor, to feel what's going on underneath the marble without you having to have contact with your student that physically. Do you know what I'm saying? But the weight of the marble is fantastic because it calls for an idealized hollowing out. And so however you go down the path of teaching, whether you say lift your head and have them feel how the marble pops away, or if you say now try not to let the marble fall off of your stomach when you lift your head, or if you're starting at the other end when you do a knee fold. And if you're really in close and in tight, the feet are up on a short box, so the weight of the leg is lessened, right? But the idea is through a tactile cue, one then tries to experience making movement in their body that is accomplished without letting go of the musculature necessary to develop and maintain a grip, the core. And so once you know the nature of the game is to turn off the rectus abdominis and learn how to use the transverse abdominis, right? Once you learn how to scoop and how to pull your belly in, or all those kinds of words that it takes to develop the condition of core. And core is a condition because it is a grip. And a grip is an involution. It doesn't just squeeze, it involutes. So for all the talk of the core and establishing your core, that is a collection of vagaries that has no specificity to them. In MMP anyway, just the one view I know about, it is specifically addressing the enablement of establishing and maintaining and then deepening your grip at the hips, which requires a specific use and non-use of musculature in this area of your body to accomplish. The great thing is, though, with the marble sitting on the belly, right? Sitting on the belly, like there. Actually, with the depression, probably more like that. You take your student, you become Yoda, and you send your student into the cave of their own awareness. Lift your head and don't let the marble fall off. Maybe that's not possible. Someday, maybe. Really good student, or just exploring what can and can't be done, right? So lift one leg up. And can that be done or not? Without engaging the rectus to the point where you lose what you're trying to do in the effort, which is not overuse the rectus and find more TVA as part of the overall involution, where adduction between the legs plays such a key part. What matters is the selective use of musculature. And as much as that's what matters, knowing that with or without the marble, you're dealing with some, even if it's tactile and your knuckles pressing down into the lower hollow belly, don't do this. Get permission, be overseen, become a doctor, get releases, have insurance, and all of that. One of the reasons why I point out the advantage of having something like this that's ideally round and also heavy, gravity, is that it makes the muscular utilization you're after in the pelvis so discernible between what you're after and what you're not after. Maybe my title should have been Establishing the Core. And so my conclusion is that MMP is sensational. Really, I think all of it is sensational. And we're just, as instructors, guides going along, helping students connect themselves into their own response to their effort. Use your knowledge to deepen is my concluding comment, and I don't know how to expand on that. So we talked about knowledge, right, and imagination. Well, one of my parting comment is use knowledge to deepen, because life can't live forever. Read between the lines and see behind the curtain. Evaluate points of view and then add 2 and 2. See your opportunities to add 2 and 2 by saying, I have a presentation that I can make, but it's prepaid, and it's just an explanation of, MMP and CT as of 2019. That way you established or selling the value of what you know about, or MMP or whatever, but you're selling a point of view. And in that regard, I guess that's knowledge. If someone's not interested in that knowledge, usually they'll just want the knowledge without having to pay for it. But not shutting it down early and just saying, well, that's as much as I explained, without getting paid for more. Now, if it's your grandmother, just for the principle's sake of the karma involved in making the presentation, have her pull out 4 quarters and pay you in advance for the presentation you're going to give, and then establish a time period so that both of you know when it's over. And then let it be over. First comes presenting, then comes teaching, and then comes instructing. Direct your thinking. Geist.